first, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello everyone, this is Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. We are here with part of our regular broadcast here from the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. And on this segment, we are going to be talking about the Oregon Zoo Beaver program. You've probably seen some of the videos that they put out, and the Oregon Zoo, of course, world renowned for so many different things, but I will say they have some of the best videos that are out there. And joining us right now to talk about the Beaver program, since we are here in the Beaver State, we've got Zach Shoemaker from the Oregon Zoo. And Zach, thanks for being here with us. And I'll show everybody, some of these videos here in just a minute. So don't worry, you will get their Beaver videos. But talking about the program and just that, Zach, I was wondering if you wouldn't mind just telling us a little bit about yourself and your role there at the zoo and this program in particular.
Of course. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here. I have been at the zoo since 2015, and I started in the North America section where our beavers are located. So I've been working with one of our beavers since around for about 10 years now, and it's been just a ton of fun. They're a delight to work with. They're great to have around. They're awesome ambassadors for their species, given that, as you mentioned, we are in the Beaver State. It's really fun to have these guys available for the public to see and occasionally have some meet and greets and really get to know these really cool animals.
And when you're working with, beavers, I'll go ahead and pull up some of that right now. What do you think, what are the most important things, or what are some of the things that you do when you're working with them there as part of this?
So like with any animal, we try to really tailor our husbandry, so the way we kind of manage them, to their ecology. Like, what would they be doing in the wild, and how do we facilitate them doing that in the zoo? So for beavers, they are ecosystem engineers. They spend a ton of time chewing down trees, dragging logs and branches, backup waterways, building lodges, building dams, altering waterways. And so we try really hard at the zoo to give them opportunities to do things like that. So what you're seeing like right now in this footage, our beavers are out for a walk in another habitat that's got a lot of trees and branches, and we try to get them out here as often as possible so they can sit out in this space and chew down branches and drag these back through the pond and back into their lodge. And a lot of what we do with beavers is around their constant processing of logs and branches. So we will hang branches for them all over their exhibit, and they will chew through those and then drag them back into their lodge. Or we give them a lot of browse, like leafy tree branches and things to eat. We will give them all kinds of things to kind of help them make their own lodge and bedding and things so they can just be beavers. And in that regard, they are so unique compared to any other animal at the zoo in the fact that what they do with all of these branches and logs, they dam up their waterfalls on habitat. They will shred all these really fine strips off the branches to make their bedding. They have a huge bed right now. It's like a couple of feet high in their lodge. It's really fun. So yeah, you can see right here, they're dragging all these branches back through our office. And if you ever need a beaver to go home, just give them a branch and they'll take this right back to their lodge. And that's how we get them to go back home as well.
Really? You just give them a branch and then they know?
They just take it straight home, really good homing instinct, and then we can just go, thank you for your walk, and we'll close them back in there, and they get to work processing all those branches.
Oh, that's amazing. What are some of the biggest challenges of working with the beavers?
It is also around that need to chew and to block up flowing water. So on their habitat, they do have multiple waterfalls there that they love to shove sticks and branches into to try to dam up, and that raises the pond level up. So we have different things to sort of manage all of that. If we do not provide them things to chew, though, that they find something anyway. It's usually something we don't want them to be chewing on. So it's a lot of management of just around how do we keep them busy, how do we keep them being beavers and not destructive.
Yeah, make sure there's lots of branches at all times.
Yes, all times.
What do you think is the most important thing for people just to know generally about beavers, being here in the Pacific Northwest and how important they are to the environment?
Hugely important. Man, there's just so much that I don't think the general public really appreciates of what beavers can do for an ecosystem. There used to be anywhere from 200 to 400 million beaver across this country, and at their lowest during the height of the fur trade, we almost extirpated the species entirely. They were down to less than 100,000 individuals across the country. And because of that, we started seeing a lot more things like drought and runaway wildfires and these aquifers that are lowering now. And if you put beavers back into an ecosystem, they fix all of that. They can prevent wildfires from spreading by making all these ponds and river systems. They can help aquifers replenish by slowing the flow of water, giving it time to penetrate into the ground. They're just such important ecosystem engineers that when they are put into a space, they make that environment healthier. And we
When
really need, oh, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, no. I want to hear what you have to say.
I was just gonna say, I think we've really seen a shift in the last 10 to 15 years of instead of like when beavers and people meet in the wild, and say farmers like agriculture or cities are having problems with beavers flooding areas, historically we have trapped those beavers and killed them. Increasingly though, especially in Oregon, Washington, in the Pacific Northwest, we are now relocating those animals. And then we're teaching people how to manage around them. So there's products out there that you can put in and around beaver dams to help control the flow of water, and that stops beavers from flooding out agriculture sites and things like that. So learning how to coexist with beavers is going to be huge, and it's really important for us to learn how to do.
How much of a role does the Oregon Zoo play in communicating, to the community as a whole or the business community or farmers in understanding beavers and what they can do to help coexist?
We do a ton of outreach. Our media team is excellent about promoting like beaver coverage. We do a ton of outreach that way. We love to bring folks kind of behind the scenes so we can do meet and greets with the beavers. There's something about meeting that animal in person that really is profound for a lot of people, and they develop this huge respect for an animal that they may not have if they hadn't actually met that animal. We also do help occasionally with some relocations. We have had beavers stay at the zoo for a week to two while they're in process of being relocated. So the zoo will assist in that way as well. And that's really important work for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely see how that would be such important things as far as reaching out there and just being a part of that and being an avenue for people to, as you mentioned, encounter, this animal in person. So for people who go to the Oregon Zoo, what's the experience like for them as far as how much interaction that they could have, or what do they get to see with the beavers?
It depends on the time of day and the season. These animals being native Pacific Northwest animals, they're very seasonal. So right now we're slowing down quite a bit for the year. So the beavers are not doing a whole lot. They're going to start sleeping in till like 3 to 4 in the afternoon. So you may just be able to see them in the lodge, curled up in their nice bed that they've made. There are some cameras to kind of give you that footage inside the lodge. But if you're lucky and you're kind of there mid-morning to late afternoon, you'll probably see those beavers cruising around in their pond, cutting down some branches, processing all of those, dragging them back to the lodge. You may see us feeding out there. And every once in a while, time permitting, we do like to take members of the public behind the scenes so they can meet the beavers up close. So if there's time and you're lucky, that might be something you can do. It's a ton of fun, and we like doing that. Otherwise, we do beaver walks like this all the time, and we will sit and chat with the public and tell you what's happening, tell you about Maple and Filbert, our 2 beavers. And like I said, we love to talk about beavers here. We are what we call beaver believers at the Oregon Zoo.
I mean, I love this footage just right there. Just a practical question. What is it that makes the teeth orange?
Oh, so that is, they have a lot of what's called iron oxide in the front of those teeth, in the enamel. So it's literally like the same color that you would get from rust. They just have a lot of iron in the front teeth, and that strengthens the front tooth. And in the back of the tooth, that dentin is softer, and so it wears away faster than the front of the tooth. So as they chew on all these branches and woods, their teeth file down naturally into a chisel shape, and that helps keep them sharp so they can keep chewing down trees.
Interesting. Any other interesting beaver facts that you think people should know?
Oh, my favorite beaver story is from back in the late 40s and early 50s. They were trying to move beavers out of a city in Idaho. A lot of people had come back from World War II, and they were moving out into rural areas, and they were encountering beavers. So this biologist was tasked with relocating like 70 beavers, and he was a former veteran, and he was like, well, I have access to all these surplus military parachutes. So what they ended up doing is boxing up these beavers and dropping them from planes between like 500 and 800 feet up, parachuting them to the ground. These boxes would hit the ground, they would pop open, and out pops a beaver. And so they moved something like 70 beavers this way with a plane and parachutes, and they ended up only losing 1, I think. But it was a hugely successful relocation project. And I just think Operation Beaver Drop is one of the coolest stories I've ever heard.
That is pretty great. Somebody's got to do a movie or something about that.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Well, anything else that you think is important for people to know?
Oh, come see them. I mean, there's no more important animal to an ecosystem than beavers. The more we can get the knowledge out there that, hey, these are important animals, the better we'll be across the country. Beavers can fix so many things, and we just have to get them out there in nature to let them work.
Actually, I will ask you one more question. What should people do if they encounter a beaver in the wild, and maybe if there's any kind of a conflict or anything like that? But as far as encountering one, what's the best thing to
Oh,
do?
it's great. Most times, just keep your space, give them distance, and you can watch them. They are usually when they see you, they're going to give you what's called a tail slap. They're going to use that big tail. That's their alarm signal when something spooks, and they're going to dive down under the water. But if you stay there quietly and unobtrusively, give them a minute or two, they'll usually pop back up, and then you can kind of sit down and watch them. They're generally peaceful animals. Don't try to touch. They do have big teeth, but just kind of watch them out there and do work.
Nice. I love it. Well, Zach, thank you very much, for having time to talk to us about this. I appreciate it. I think we may need to get out there for one of those beaver walks at some point.
Absolutely. Anytime.
That would be fun. Okay, that would be fun. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us here on Fox 12 Now. I really appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Greg.
And for everybody watching, again, we are live streaming here, so we cover a wide range of topics, like we just got to talk to Zach there about the Beaver program at the Oregon Zoo. And we have plenty more for you here throughout the afternoon. If there's breaking news, I have that as well. But we also get to intersperse with some of these segments also. So thanks for being here. We're going to go ahead and switch it back depending on what platform you are watching on. You may see this video end. You may see other content start up. But we will be here throughout the afternoon covering, like I mentioned, a wide range of topics and all the way until 4 p.m. when our 4 p.m. news takes over. But thanks for joining us.